Tenakoto katoa. Welcome to Kōrero with Vaishali, where everyone comes to love, laugh, live the moment and inspires all to live our life in its authentic way, being the best version of ourselves. So today we are on Kōrero with Vaishali, elections for the Tron, Hamilton. So who is here today? We have, I know you all are interested, you all want to know? Yes, I'm excited too. So, yes, I'm revealing. So today we have Mish Macdonald for West Ward. What does Mish's campaign says? Her campaign says, standing to get back to basics, cut waste and keep rates down. That's a good news, isn't it? Sharp thinking, strong backbone, real results, and to keep Hamilton affordable, where businesses thrive and families flourish. Isn't it wonderful? We all want that. They all are trying their best and they all are sharing their thoughts and the best that they can bring for the city. So let's find out what Mish has to bring for our Hamilton and for us all. Let's welcome Mish Macdonald.
Thank you for having me today. It's a really great opportunity to meet you and to be able to share a little bit about what I'm about. When you vote in an election, your vote is a really big trust thing. And it's really important that people can feel like, here's a candidate that aligns with my priorities. They see things the way I do. They experience the same challenges that I do. And so I'm confident that they will make choices that I would be happy with. That's a really, really big thing.
That's great. Thank you. Yes, definitely I can see everybody's trying their best and what's that best they can bring. So I thought that it is a great platform. So, yes. It's a really great pleasure to have you and know all about that. Your campaign sounds really interesting, what everybody is right now, I think, wanting, which is affordable Hamilton. That's a need for the Hamilton, I guess, as we are one of the fastest growing city, as well as we had to keep up with everything. It's not easy, I'm pretty sure. So let's find out what are your plans. So let's start. Yes? All right, first thing first, could you please tell us more about yourself, a little bit about personal life and professional life?
Absolutely. So I'm a lawyer. I was admitted to the bar in the High Court in Hamilton. And I'm a businesswoman. So I bring 16 years of business management experience. I've operated multi-million-dollar budgets for corporate and executive education, as well as small family budgets where you've got to get value out of every dollar. I have a master's degree in business management with first-class honours, and I'm a mum. In my personal life, I married my classmate. We were classmates at the university and we are raising our 3 boys in Hamilton. So what I bring to offer to our Hamilton community, our West Ward, is professional sharpness, being able to make decisions and operate in that professional world, but also family realities of trying to juggle kids and schedules and bills and all the things that families juggle.
Not easy, isn't it?
Not easy, but rewarding.
Definitely it is, if planned well. And great, thank you. What inspired you to stand for the elections? I know you can feel the way, you're a businesswoman and you're a mom of 3, you know the struggle. I would like to know what is the real strength or what is that inspiration?
It was actually when I got my rates bill.
Okay.
Last year, I noticed that there was a big jump in our rates. They went up 16.5%. And I thought, that's a very big jump. And at the same time, I also noticed what I coin as wasteful spending. There was rollout of speed bumps, there was cost blowouts hitting the headlines. And I thought, we need to be doing better than this. I feel the impact of that in my own life, in the lives of my families. I know that we have people in the community who are struggling. This year, our rates went up 15.5% on average. They've gone up 41% in the last 3 years, but my income hasn't gone up 41%, and no one else that I've talked to's income's gone up 41%. So the rates rises are really causing hardship, and so I'm not only frustrated at seeing the wasteful spending, but also really worried about the direction that our city's going in. So I mentioned I've got 3 boys, and I would like them to be able to stay in Hamilton. I'd like this to be a place that they could afford to stay if they choose to. But I think if we continue with our current trajectory, I have some real concerns about their ability to do that.
Great, thank you. What are the challenges do you think Hamilton is facing right now? Have you got any strategies around them?
Well, you mentioned Hamilton's the fastest growing city. And that's fantastic. But part of the challenge that comes with that is when you have a growing city, you have growing infrastructure needs. And so as a city, we need to balance growth with affordability. And that's new roads, it's roads that are being maintained well, it's pipes in the ground, it's rubbish being collected efficiently. And to be able to do all of these things costs a lot of money. I also, on the other side of that, see a lot of wasteful spending. And there is the other half of the challenge. I mean, things like speed bumps. We all love to hate on speed bumps. They have a place. There are certain times when they are appropriate, when they are necessary, but not on main roads, not everywhere, not on roundabouts. An Official Information Act query was put in recently for the cost of those speed bumps. And it was done specifically for the roundabout in Frankton, which is Commerce Street and Lake Road. So there are 4 speed bumps, and that roundabout cost $1.2 million, $300,000 a bump. And I think, how many of those do we have across the city? And when Hamilton City Council was asked, they couldn't actually tell us. They don't hold the data on that because it's done project by project. They don't have we have this number of speed bumps kind of data. Oh, okay. So it's really hard to measure the spend there. I mean, that's just one example of wasteful spending. 2 weeks ago in the Waikato Times, I read an article that was about, as the headline said, the poo plant blowout in Melville. That was budgeted at $11-ish million, has blown out to $14-ish million. So it's increased by $2.9 million, which is 25%, and that's pushed the project out by a year. We could do a lot with $2.9 million. And you'd think if you're doing a project that cost $11 million, yes, there are variables, and yes, there are things that are unforeseen, but you really need to be doing your homework, and we shouldn't be having these cost blowouts. So just speaking broadly, coming back to your question about the challenges of Hamilton, growing infrastructure needs, but also winding back that wasteful spending, because we can't afford both. And I think if we wind back the wasteful spending, then we will have the money we need to put into the infrastructure to allow us to grow.
Great, thank you. All right. You say in your campaign that Hamilton doesn't have a revenue problem. It has even though you kind of covered it a little bit, it has a spending problem. Could you please elaborate a little bit more again?
Well, Hamilton City Council collects a lot in rates. Last year they collected about $300 million, and that represented an increase of $50 million from the year before, because that increased the rates. But as I look around our city, I think, what did we get for that? Yes, some of the work that they do is underground, but there's a lot that we need them to do above the ground. And so they collect enough money to be able to take care of things. They just need to be better stewards of the money that they have and spend it more wisely. When I think about my own family, household budget, and you'll be running your own household according to a budget. You have an amount of income and you have expenses, and sometimes you have to make choices about what you can spend your money on. Can't buy everything that you want, and you can't buy everything that you want now. You have to make choices about what do I need, what can wait, and how to get the best value out of every dollar. So I think that's what I'm trying to say in terms of we don't have a revenue problem. There actually is enough money. We just need to use it more wisely.
Do you think, is it lack of planning?
It's lack of planning to some extent. It's also lack of control in terms of project management and procurement. There's lots of room for improvement.
Okay, thank you. How would you address housing affordability in Hamilton? What actions would you take? Housing
is something that council can't tackle on its own, but council can certainly make it a lot easier or harder. In April this year, council were met by a number of developers who'd come to council to make submissions on stormwater. And essentially, the message from those developers were, Hamilton City Council, you are too hard to do business with. There is too much red tape. It's too expensive to do business with you. You take too long to turn consents around. We're going to build somewhere else. The problem with that is that if we have developers saying they don't want to build houses here, we're not going to get the houses that we need. So while Hamilton City Council isn't in the business of building houses, they are in the business of granting consents. They are in the business of building infrastructure where infrastructure is needed. Where people want to build houses, that's where we need to have pipes in the ground. And so that's how Hamilton City Council can cut the red tape, makes resource consents turned around faster, and work with developers so that we can get houses built.
Thank you. Okay, again, coming to the hot topic in the town at the moment, and I think you say in your campaign as well. So is there any room for rates to be reduced so that everyone can afford it?
I believe so. I absolutely believe so. That's why I'm here. I think that, as I mentioned before, Hamilton City Council collects enough money to be able to run the city as it needs to. Yes, there is a place for debt. Right now, debt is out of control. Our city debt is at $1.05 billion. Our interest payments on that debt last year alone were $63.5 million. We can't afford that. So I think if we are better stewards with what we have, then there is enough money to go around without sending rates through the roof.
Great, thank you. Do you think there are any opportunities or places for Hamilton City Council to generate the revenue? Do you think that can be another option to look into?
Absolutely. I think we have a lot of places that we can offer as tourists, to tourists. You know, we've got a fantastic gardens, we've got zoo. Can we look at ways of bundling things that we already have so that when people come to Hamilton City, they don't just pick one of our amazing things, that it's attractive for them to spend a bit more money and to bundle things. I think there's also opportunity for us to be able to support events. And those events aren't necessarily things that council run, but things that private sector run. So for example, we have had in recent times the Cherry Blossom Festival, which attracted 7,000 visitors.
Was one of the popular one in the country, isn't it?
It was.
Okay.
Okay. But in the last couple of years, that has been closed down due to a technicality on parking.
Oh.
The consent around that had some limitations, and rather than work with the proprietor of that was closed down, or the proprietor had to get a new resource consent, which was totally financially unviable. Point being that we should be, as a city and city council, trying to help people who are putting on events like this to draw money in from the regions to come and spend it in our city.
Yes, on that side note, I have family, friends, and community that I live in. They've been talking about this event, and they used to look forward to it, but now they're disappointed because it's not being held.
Yeah.
So okay, that's a great one. Hopefully that restarts again. They work on it. Thank you. Maybe if you're elected, maybe you can restart that and make everyone happy. All right. What initiatives will you introduce to promote environmental sustainability in Hamilton?
That's a good question. To me, environmental sustainability spans a spectrum, and not everything on that spectrum requires a shiny new environmental thing. Sometimes being environmentally sustainable means looking at what we've got already and taking care of that. So, for example, we have quite a high water loss. I understand it's about 20% through leaky pipes. So if we could help fix some of those things, we'd reduce our waste. I also think if we strengthened our stormwater network, we planted in the gullies, so that means that the water flowing in through the stormwater channels going into our river is going to be cleaner. And that means that we're going to be more environmentally sustainability as a city. We'll have more green spaces looking after our river, but that doesn't come as a huge rates burden to our community.
Great, thank you. All right, we're coming to the transportation. Do you think the existing public transportation is efficient, or do we need to make some major changes so that we're ready for the fastest growing city?
Public transport's an interesting place. It's an interesting space because Hamilton City Council looks after the bus stops, the infrastructure, but Regional Council operate all the buses. They determine the frequency, the size, the routes, etc. So while Hamilton City Council doesn't have full purview over that, Regional Council is still funded by rates as well. They have their own rate collection. So it's still in our community interest to have public transport that works in places that we need it and the frequency that we need it at a price tag that we can afford. So I think if I was to give some advice to the Regional Council, to be looking at the frequency of buses, making sure that they are on the areas, the corridors that are most needed. And one thing that they've done in the last few years is they've introduced the flex bus transport, where they're smaller buses, they run more frequently, you can book a place on it. And to me, that's a much better use of ratepayer money than these big empty buses that drive around the city. Because, I mean, not only is our big empty buses financially unsustainable, but they're environmentally unsustainable too. That's like driving a giant car around the city that's empty, and none of us want that. So coming back to your question about is it efficient, I think currently it's not. But I think, if we consult better with the community and find out where are the major users of buses. Some people are high users, some people are low users, some people are not users of the bus. And so we want to tailor our public transport system to those who need it the most.
That's great, thank you. All right, what measures will you take to reduce homelessness and provide the support in those need?
I think homelessness, if I just look at that in and of itself first, that's a terrible thing. If you had someone that you loved who was struggling with that, you'd do anything to help with them. Again, council is not set up specifically to help with homelessness, but council still have a role with that. I mean, council support community houses, they support shelters, and so I think the way that council could help with homelessness more is not to go out and try and help with homelessness itself, because council don't have the connections, they don't have the expertise, and it's not really within their remit. But they can support and partner with agencies who are good at helping our community in that space, and support them in ways that they need, whether it's financial, whether it's other council assistance. Help the people who know what they're doing to do what they're doing better.
That's great, thank you. All right, coming to the same topic, health and social services. How will you support mental health services and addiction recovery programs in the city?
Well, I think if we got our rates down, that would help the mental health of a lot of people across the city. I think a lot of people are pretty stressed about that. But that aside, again, council's not in the business of health, but it can partner with organisations that do help in that space. You know, the council's remit is kind of the infrastructure of our service, but there are also parts of our city which make up the social infrastructure. And so council needs to be supportive, they need to be helping and enabling agencies who can reach into the youth sector, who can reach into areas where other mental health issues are rising through quite frequently. So I see council's role as being more of a partner in that space rather than tackling it head on itself.
With organizations.
With organizations.
Great, thank you. How would you support local small businesses to grow, and do you have any plans?
All too often, I see and hear about our council, procuring services, products from businesses outside of our city. I think as a priority, council needs to look first within our city to spend the money in our city, so it's not going out of our city. Also making sure that those businesses are competitive. You're not just going to give it to people in Hamilton because they're in Hamilton. They need to be competitive. They need to be providing a quality of service and product that we need, but to look there first. I think council also, as a business owner myself, can be difficult to deal with. Things take a long time when you put in, for example, an application to move a basin from your commercial kitchen from here to over there. It takes 20 working days before you're going to get a response back, and then sometimes you'll get close to the 20 working days and then they'll request more information, and then that starts another 20 working days. And so as a business, you're trying to operate, look after your compliance, look after your business, and sometimes the two collide a little bit. So council can, I guess, look to speed things up so they can enable business, because we want businesses to thrive, because businesses employ people, and that's how, you know, our city is going to thrive.
Great, thank you. Okay, we are coming to now random quick questions. What are top 3 things Hamilton needs right now?
We need to spend on the basics. We need to focus on roads, water and waste. We need to cut the wasteful spending, and we need to keep our rates down, because people can't afford the rates rises that we've had combined with the rate rises that are coming.
Thank you. What are top 3 beautiful places in Hamilton as a point of tourist attraction?
I think a point of tourist attraction, but also part of living in the city. You know, I mean, I have a family, and so I will enjoy a lot of the same places that tourists will enjoy.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, my youngest child turned 8 recently, and I asked him, what would you like to do? He wanted to go to the zoo. So we went to the zoo as a family, and he was delighted to be there. And I felt really proud to be able to go to a zoo that was beautiful, that had rhinos and all the other things that he was hoping to see, rhinos and giraffes and zebras, and he was thrilled. And I can imagine a tourist who comes here would be just as thrilled. So that's the first thing. Second thing is the Hamilton Gardens. Again, tourists, but again, I'm going to liken it to families who live here as well. One of my boys goes to Hamilton Boys High School, and they finish earlier on a Thursday. So I picked him up early and said, hey son, what shall we do? He wanted to have sushi in the Japanese garden at the Hamilton Gardens.
Okay.
So we went and picked up some sushi, we went to the Japanese garden and we ate our sushi. And then we went and picked up his brothers. But, I mean, how fantastic that we can have a resource like that in our own backyard. The third thing, which might not attract people here, but I think once they're here they would enjoy it, is our river walks. You know, we've got a river flowing through the middle of our city, And we've had the foresight of previous councils to footpath along it. So, you can walk along the Riverwalk, there's people riding their bikes, you can enjoy being in nature without actually having to leave the city. So those would be my top 3.
Great, thank you. What kind of future do you dream of Hamilton, the kind of city you would love to live for many more generations?
This is going to sound a bit boring to you.
You never know. I have kids too.
Well, I think the thing that I would dream about right now is affordability. And, I dream about a city where people can go about their business, where old people, where pensioners aren't priced out of their homes by rates, where families can thrive, where businesses can operate. That's the kind of city I dream about.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I think everyone wants that kind of life, isn't it? That's great. Thank you. All right. So now, if you're elected and you're given $1 million of grant, what services would you use it on?
Oh, that's a good question. I think in the grand scheme of the business that council's in, often a lot of the projects, $1 million doesn't go very far. It'll buy you a roundabout. It'll keep a community house open for a year, but in terms of putting pipes in the ground, it's a drop in the bucket. So how I would spend $1 million that would impact everyday Hamiltonians every day, I'll probably fix potholes, because we have potholes all around town. You've got to dodge them if you are going to work, if you're picking up the kids, if you're going shopping. We all use the roads in the city, and we have a lot of potholes. So I think if I had $1 million and I spent that on fixing the potholes, I think that would make a measurable difference. People would be able to see where their money's gone, and they would feel that every day not having to dodge the potholes in the road.
Okay, thank you. All right, do you have anything for audience? Would you like to say anything to them? Any message for them?
This election is a really important one. We're kind of at a crossroads for our city. So I hope you take the opportunity to vote. In the City Council elections, we use STV, and that means that you use a number system. You rank the candidates. So please take the time to have a look at the booklets that come with your voting papers. Your voting papers will be out shortly, and have your say in this election to help shape Hamilton to be the best that it can be for our community. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Mesh. Thanks for coming on Kōrero with Vaishali and sharing your great insights. Yes, it's been great to hear you. It's been great pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for your time and the insight.
Thank you for having me.
That's great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for watching. And yes, future of Hamilton depends on your vote. So please don't forget to vote. Thank you.